Hello, everybody. Shadow SP here, coming back with Granblue Fantasy. We're going to make some progress, but before that, I would like to kind of review what we have gained from doing a bunch of side stories. Because when we look at the side stories tab, right, going through the chapters gave us access to, I think, 5 side stories in total. We had this one, the Dark Giant of the Blue Sea, Balmy Breeze of Foamy Deep, Blade of the Young Champion, and when we come over here, we got access to Princess Connect Redive and Side M Fantasy. That's a lot of stuff. And because there's a lot of side stories, there were a lot of rewards. Again, this tab is really good, the side stories tab, for making progress in the game. So, let's take a look individually at what we gained. So, we've gained a bunch of weapons, right? The most notable weapon that we've gained, actually, is this frog thing. Frog Bell. It came from the Side M Fantasy side story. The reason that it's notable is that it has an EX attack modifier. I'm not going to explain too much as to what that means yet, but it is something that we have not seen up until this point. Right? And if we switch to our skills, you can see it's unique in that it has this little EX on the skill icon, as opposed to the other weapons we got from side stories, which have no icons, and the weapons we've gotten from the main story, which have this little omega. We'll explain more as to what these mean when I finally end up talking about grid building. We're not quite there yet. I'd like to get there today, not in this video, but today as in the day I'm recording it. So yeah, we can also take a look at summons. We got access to a decent amount of summons. We got, notably, the Ebisu, which is a main summon. Gives a 50% bonus to water attack, which is pretty decent. It's not the best, but it works. Albacore is just a summon that's not particularly notable. But Poseidon is actually a somewhat notable summon, in that I don't remember if there are any other side story summons that can be uncapped to 4 stars. So Poseidon has a higher stat cap, ultimately, than most other side story summons, which may come in handy because you're going to use any gacha summons, and there might be a time where we really would like a few more stat points. And ultimately Poseidon's Call is okay, I guess. It's a small boost to attack and defense, and when it's maxed out at 4 stars, it gets a small attack and defense debuff as well. So, it's okay. But the real winner for what we obtained so far is in the Characters tab. Let me acquire Ascending, probably, right? Yeah. Okay, so we had already obtained through the Love Live characters, and then Eugen came in the Auguste arc. So we obtained everything from that point up until Rosetta. So that's a grand total of what, 10 characters? That's a lot. Right? So from the Giant of the Seas, or Giant of the Blue Deep, the first side story, we got Sig, who as a character is not very good, but it gave us another water character, which let us actually fill up our water roster entirely. From the Balmy Depths side story, we got Jin, who is actually a very good character. He's got some utility to him. First of all, he's got a 20% boost to his charge bar here, self-attack buff that's relatively large, and this ability to move some charge bar around. We'll get to that eventually. We haven't unlocked it yet. He also has a maximum charge bar limit of 200%. So if you reach 200, he can charge attack twice in one turn, which can be relevant in some content. But just as a pure attacker, Jin's pretty good. We got Yuri from the Blade of the Young Champion side story. He's pretty straightforward. He is a tank. He has a substitute that he uses to draw. Probably you'd want it to use to draw an opponent's special attack, as well as a Warcry, which gives him a defense boost. And the attack boost is nice, but the important thing is the defense boost, because he's going to take a lot of damage with the substitute. After that, we got some Side M Fantasy people, which I think was Idolmaster Side M. I don't remember. Don't quote me on that. Overall, they're not that good. They do all have this same support skill, basically, where when they use a skill, they get charge bar 10%, which is pretty decent. I think the best one of the group is the water one, because it's got an attack defense debuff. We don't have it yet, but we'll get there. So yeah, we'll just show real quick. The wind one's actually, I think the worst one's the fire one. The wind one's got some utility because it also has this small damage cut. Then we get to the good stuff, where we get from the Princess Connect collab. We got Pecorine, who is a unit that we're probably going to be using for the rest of the game in light teams, given that light is somewhat rare to find, and she's got good stats and abilities that kind of make sense with each other, right? She has substitute effects. She has substitute like Yuri, but also her substitute boosts her defense and takes AoE attacks, whereas Yuri's would not. She's got the ability. She's got on her skill nuke a heal, which is perfect after you've used your substitute to take a bunch of damage. And her third skill includes dark damage reduction, which she's a light character, so she'll be fielded against dark enemies. In addition, she has heal in her kit, or in her in her support skills, and higher max HP than usual, as well as higher hostility than usual. She's a really strong tank. Oh, and her charge attack gives you armor. She's really good at surviving. Then we move over to Kokoro, who's probably the best character from the side stories we've obtained so far. In that Kokoro is a pretty strong buff unit. This is our first instance of supplemental damage with the speed up skill. This skill gives you 25% of your charge bar and gives you supplemental damage, which is equal to, I believe, 1% of your opponent's max HP, with a cap of probably 30,000, if I'm remembering correctly. I can double check at a later date and make sure that we have accurate information. But that skill is pretty good for pushing through extra damage with multi-hits and skills that hit multiple times, like her second skill, which is just a straightforward damage skill. In addition, she also will come with a defense down that will stack with our main character's Miserable Mist. Also, when our wind attack is buffed, that wind attack buff has a higher magnitude with her sub-support skill, and wind allies have a higher multi-attack rate. And noticeably, she actually is able to enable her own Shadeborn Epiphany skill with her charge attack, which doesn't do any damage, but it heals, gives you wind attack up, and boosts your attack and multi-attack rate. This character will take you places. The last character we get from the Princess Connect collab is Carol, who is the worst of the group by a lot, but she's still usable. Basically, she's a straightforward skill damage character. She has 2 damaging skills. One of those skills boosts the caster's skill damage cap. It's okay. Worse things have happened. Yeah, so her entire MO is basically build up charge attack, use charge attack, then use your skills to deal damage. She's usable, but isn't anything special like the others. Then last thing that we gained, we finally were able to go back to one of those Love Live collabs and clear one of the 20 AP stages. The other one has still evaded us. We'll get there, I swear. But we've obtained the Muse 3rd Year's character, which has some utility. Biggest one being that she has this light attack down and dark defense down, which is going to come in handy. In addition, we'll end up with this 40% damage cut, which is also pretty useful. Alright. So that does about cover it. Like I said, we've done a lot, and when we start doing side stories again, we're gonna do a lot again, because we just unlocked a bunch more side stories. But for now, I'd like to clear the normal modes for Leviathan and Yggdrasil. So let's do Leviathan Showdown. Alright, so I think our best bet, we'll just bring Gorilla, because we don't need anything in particular for this. I don't think that these showdowns are going to cause us any problems, because we've done the side stories and we are so much stronger now. Now, it would be technically a stronger team if instead of Welder, we brought someone else in the front line, because Welder as an R character is weaker than our SR characters. But there is a reason to bring Welder in your front line, and I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so on clear, we get pendants for clearing a raid, and you'll see we get bonus pendants for bringing lower rarity characters. SR characters give us, for normal raids, +2 pendants, and an R character gives us +3. The thing is, we only have, and will only ever have, one R character on this account, unless there's something I'm forgetting about. So that means, for maximum efficiency for pendant farming, we want to bring Welder in our front lines for every fight that we can. And ultimately, these pendants are going to be used to speed up the grind at a later date. So it's good to stockpile them while we have them, the ability to. So bringing Welder on against a water raid in our front line makes a lot of sense, because he's not that much weaker than our other options. All right, so we got an orb, anima, piece of coral. All right, but ultimately the Leviathan raid is clear. We got some more pendants, got some rank points. Pretty happy with it. So we're gonna move ahead straight to the Lumacy Archipelago. And we are going to take down the Yggdrasil normal raid. Alright. We'll go ahead and bring Grimnir. Go over here. And again, I don't suspect we'll have any issues. So let's just go ahead and get started. Alright, well, we're skipping the cutscene because it's more or less just saying, oh, there's another... the Primal's back. Let's beat him up again. Okay, so... let's just go ahead and apply our buffs and our debuffs. And apply the skill damage and hit the attack button.
Hey.
Alright. Ultimately, pretty simple fight. I'm sure you can see how if we didn't have the base stats that we got containing the max level weapons from the side stories, we might have had a lot of problems. Even with the characters that I guess our win would have been okay because we have a really strong roster. But on the Earth side, we might have had some problems. Okay, so we got some pendants and our normal raid drops. You gotta keep up with these things in terms of farming for making real progression. Basically, you can host each of these normal raids 3 times a day. It makes a lot of sense to do them as much as you can in the early game. And I've been doing that with the Tiamat and Colossus raids between when I recorded those and when I've come here. So, yeah, I think that covers it. We didn't get anything special, but we did make progress, and that's important. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this video here, and probably come back almost immediately and try to clear the hard mode raids for each of these primals. So, it's Shadow SP, playing Granblue Fantasy. I hope that this video at least gave some context, gave some information, maybe entertaining. Probably not. The gameplay wasn't anything special. So, yeah, I'm gonna see you guys next time.